Hello, good afternoon. I'm Aley from Heart and Soul Connected, and I've been away for too long. So I wanted to make sure that I came back today just to say hello and hope that all of you are putting out positive energies into the world. I was supposed to meet with Danny Shea on Thursday, but Mother Nature had another plan for me. So I didn't have any electricity for a while, and then I got that back, but I didn't get my internet back for a couple of days. This made it very difficult for me because I teach online and I have to meet with students and do Zoom meetings and do classes. And so I was spending a lot of time at my Starbucks parking lot until my batteries went. So that's why I wasn't posting. And yesterday I came up and posted um, a good, I thought, chat, riffing, and it wouldn't upload. So here I am. I'm trying once again. We'll see how it goes. I have a couple of things to talk about. I guess what I'd like to start talking about, though, is the wonderful message that I got yesterday in my cards that I pulled. Every day I pull four cards, one from several different decks, from four different decks, and I like the Denise Lynn cards. I love, particularly like the ones that she has that are called the Sacred Traveler ones. These are oracle cards, and oracle cards are, of course, different than tarot cards. I have a hard time with the tarot. I love to listen to what other people have to say, but I do like the oracle cards because they cut right to the chase most of the time. So I pull them all the time, every morning. But I believe Thursday, because I didn't have my computer and I wasn't sitting in front of it, um, I pulled some and then I didn't pull again until Saturday, yesterday. So I had two earlier ones, and then I had the Sacred Traveler, and I also have the Sacred Destiny Oracle cards. And so I put my cards back in and I riffed the deck and shuffled as much as I could. And the first two cards came out and they were different and they were fine. One of them talked about cracking open a rose or something. I thought it was fabulous. Anyway, the other two were exactly the same card that I had pulled on the Thursday, even though I put them both in the decks, shuffled them well, and picked one intuitively. So I took that to mean that the message was one that was of so much importance that it needed to be acknowledged and needed to be shared if possible. So the ones that I picked in the Oracle deck, that was the Sacred Destiny card, it was a white wolf that symbolized purity. And I thought, wow. And I often think about the idea that if one purifies one's mind, then they're open to more information. And I just felt really empowered by the card because I happen to love animals anyway. But the most interesting one that I pulled was the next one out of the Sacred Traveler cards. And I pulled Protected by Angels. And I pulled that card prior and I pulled that card yesterday. It has to be mentioned that I have been working with the Archangel Metatron. And the Archangel Metatron was the one of the only archangels, I believe, that was an earthly person, and he's the bridge, the connection between the earth and the angelic realm. He was Enoch in when he was on the earth. I didn't know anything about this, but when I looked up information about the Merkaba, which I found to be a fascinating thing, and I'm going to show you a Merkaba. This is a Merkaba stone, and as you can see, it's is it an octogram? I believe octogram. Anyway, um, he is the protector of the Merkaba. And so I started working with him and I did a visualization and a couple of meditations, inviting him to come into my life. And I felt his energy very strong. And so when I got the card protected by angels, I felt like it was an affirmation from Metatron that he and other angels are around us all, and all we have to do is to call to them. Believe me, I'm not a huge woo woo person, I wouldn't say. There are things that other people believe in wholeheartedly. And with me, I believe that if it's something that speaks to me and I hear the voice, the still small voice inside of me, tell me that this may be something I need to know more about, that I check into it. And I found it was fascinating. So, if anybody watching this knows me, and some of you know me very well, I could not get away from getting the Archangel Metatron cards. And they are absolutely gorgeous. Here is one that I pulled today, and it's called Cosmos Mirrors You. And although I don't always read the materials from inside the booklet that they give, I felt that it was possible. It was a good thing to read this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, I'm only going to read what it means in a short version. What you feel as random, chaotic, and disjointed in your world is a result of your scattered thoughts, words, and feelings that you have sent out to the greater universe, either consciously or unconsciously. Because a lot of us on the earth have operated from a position of fear, particularly since last Wednesday, there's a lot of garbling of messages that seems to be getting out there. And along with that brings up a lot of fears of retribution, fears of more assaults, fears of anger and rage impacting people. And anybody that's an empath, and all of us do have the ability to be an empath or a light worker. If anybody is an empath, then you know that it is a feeling and it just sweeps over you. Sometimes you feel pushed down, oppressed. Other times you get a terrible headache, perhaps. Everybody's different, so everybody has differing manifestations of that. So I just felt like it was important for me to come together to bring some of that information and also to ask us to think about how we can change our reactions to something rather than to buy into it. So, when you don't have the opportunity to change your reaction to something, well, no, that's wrong. When you don't have an opportunity to change things that are occurring outside of yourself, you can change your reaction to those things. One of those examples came where I was supposed to meet with Danny on Thursday, and on Wednesday night I knew I didn't have internet, so I reached out to my friend Renee to let her know what was going on, if she would let him know, and she did, and thank you, Renee. But I usually would be very upset. In January of 2018, I'm sorry, 19, when we moved into our home earlier in the year, um, we didn't have electric. We didn't have anything. We didn't have internet, electric, and this was because of a terrible windstorm that we had out here in the country that knocked down a lot of things. Other people in the neighborhood, they had generators and things that they could, drive their electric. We lost all the food in our refrigerator. I was trying to teach classes. I couldn't get out of my driveway because we had lots of problems with wood falling and all that. And I was pitching a fit, just lamenting about how awful it all was and what the heck was going on and that kind of thing. And I realized this time that I have had more enhanced calm. I have not felt that way as much. Not that it served me to do any of that, which was totally ridiculous, but I did recognize that my reaction to it was much different. And I believe that we can take whatever has happened to us and position it in such a way that we can recognize that we are in this position because this is where we are, and there's nothing we can do. So we can't change anything. So why get upset about it? This is what most of our fear and worry surrounds us by those things. And we always have the choice or the chance not to buy into that kind of mentality or reaction. So I have rescheduled. We're going to meet this Thursday, Danny Shea and I, the Bathrobe Tarot Master, and we're going to talk about his journey, and maybe he'll pull some readings. It will be live at 10 o'clock Pacific time, Thursday, the 21st. So I'm looking forward to that. I also have some other people I'm lined up to talk with soon, so I hope they can come on soon as well, because I really want to give you guys at least 2 to 3 times that I can talk to you a week. I think that it's important to stay connected, for me, even more maybe than you. And look at my beautiful Merkaba. I even have that. Isn't that wonderful? Um, so my cards telling me and affirming, I always listen to the messages. I listen to songs that come on. I listen to an advertisement. I listen to cards I draw. Any of those things. I don't read the cards, but I do follow the cards for myself and check in with them every once in a while, at least once a day. And I find that they're very, very telling, and they offer me some guidance as to where I am, how things are going. Made it very difficult for me last week because I just started teaching a new class and at a new school, and I was very excited about it. And then, of course, we went offline for the longest time. But anyway, I'm all caught up with everybody, so everybody's happy, I hope, by now. Last night, I was fortunate enough to attend a webinar at the East West Bookstore, which is in Seattle, and it was via Zoom with Julia Cameron. Julia Cameron in 1992 wrote The Artist's Way, which is a fabulous book, and it tells you very simply how you can tap into your emotions, your feelings, and also to write and make a commitment to write if that's what you choose to do. And write, it's for you. It's not for books. It's not for anything else. It's you choosing to write and finding out a little bit more about writing. Well, her new book just came out, and it's called The Listening Way. And she talks about the listening way in her fabulous webinar that she had. And she tells us a little bit about what's in it and what's coming after she brings up the tools that she had given in the Artist Way so many years ago, because she's written more than that. She's written lots of other books as well. But she talks about listening to your environment outside, nature. What do you hear? What kind of things do you hear? And I instantaneously thought about the wonder of hearing an owl hooting the other night. Just so nice. It was so wonderful to hear that owl. She also talks about the kind of noise that you don't like to hear, like when airplanes go over, or if you live in the city, screaming, raging ambulances and loud noises and sirens and so on. But she tells you that perhaps you're blocking out some of those things, and maybe they have messages for you as well. So she talks about also spending a little bit of time listening to other people, not interrupting, really trying to take in what they have to say without anticipating what it is that they're going to say. Taking the time to just sit back and listen. I love that. That was wonderful. She talks a lot about walking, or she did talk about walking, and I love walking. I love walking outside, and of course, that's part of your environment. And I don't know if you all know, but when I go walking, I have a friend that I talk with all the time, and they allow me to pat their head and scratch their ears. And it's a beautiful dairy cow that lives right near me. And she sees me coming now, and she jumps in joy. And that's how I feel when I see her, and she lets me scratch now. It's been almost a year, and now she lets me do that. So I love that. The other thing that we can listen to that can help us a lot is our own self, our higher self, the thoughts that we have and why we have them, and to perhaps practice affirmations that make us a little bit more positive, not to focus so much on the negative, which is always a good thing to be reminded of. she brings up two other concepts, and she was worried other people might find her strange, but I understood exactly what she was talking about. And that is listening to people behind the veil, those ancestors that we've had, those family members, those friends, to invite them to come and talk to us, just like I invited the angel Metatron. He isn't speaking in words to me, but he speaks in symbols. He speaks in the way cards come out. He speaks in other affirmations that I know. Yesterday, a hummingbird came, a green, beautiful, small little baby hummingbird. And they said look for feathers. Well, I say look for birds that usually don't occur in January in Seattle, Washington, especially on a cold day. Unreal. And you can go a step beyond that, she says. She says you can also ask heroes, your heroes, what they think. She said she spoke to Carl Jung. Um, I like to talk to Freddie Mercury. I find he's fascinating. That's my uh, go-to fabulous person. But there are others. I have a lot of heroes. Really wasn't a hero, but I felt like Freddie was a friend of mine, even though he has been dead longer than since 1991. But his music still speaks, and I feel as though he is still alive. His presence is huge. And I have to tell you, this was way before the movie came out, even though the movie was great. And Rami Malek did a great job. And so did the others that were in it. It was great. If you haven't seen Bohemian Rhapsody, make sure you do, because it's really good. Anyway, and I don't get paid for that. So, um, think about these things. Think about how the pandemic has put you in a situation where you have more free time to do things that you never had free time to do before. You can't really go on vacation. You can't really go to the movies. You can't go out to eat as much. There's a lot of other things that are going on. And so take that time. When I didn't have any electricity, I had like one of those miner's lights on my head, and I was reading. And then when the electricity came on, but I had no internet, which is my television as well, I read 3 books. It was fabulous. I understand that this is going on and on and on, just a little bit way too long. But it is a gift. It's a gift. It's a gift. Don't forget. And a gift is always given as a present. And this is the present. Make sure you enjoy your gifts. Thank you so much. I've missed you all. I hope you're all well. Please let me know how you are. And I hope to see you Thursday when I talk to Danny Shea at 10 o'clock. And it will be here on this channel. And bring some questions if you want to ask Danny or to ask him to read on short readings. Okay? Thank you. Have a good day.